Hello, my name is David Adam, and I am the host of Muddy River News this week. I'm pinch hitting for Bob Goff, who's taken a couple of days off, and today my guest is Frericks, Executive Director of the Quincy Park District.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you coming by. How long have you been with the Park District now? I mean, I've known you forever, but I kind of forget. I've lost track of time.
Time flies. A little over 17 years already.
Good Lord.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Started my way in the Parks Department, then moved up to the Director of Parks, and then Executive Director for almost 7 years now.
How does someone get into this line of business?
Well, I don't know. I was fifth generation of Frericks Gardens, so I grew up in kind of the landscaping and building part of it. So just, put an application in for the Park District, and lo and behold, here I am.
Tell the listeners, okay, they see Executive Director of the Quincy Park District. What exactly does that mean? I know that you've got your finger in a lot of pies there at the Quincy Park District. Explain to the people what exactly it is you do there.
So, I have a great group of directors and staff. So, it's, David Morgan with Westview, Mike Bruns with all the recreation.
Right.
Then you got Marcelo, who's my marketing and kind of operations guy. Then you have Matt Higley, who's the Director of Parks. And then you have Don Hilgenbrink, who's kind of the money man.
Right.
So it's just, there's only 27 full-time employees, so we bounce a lot off each other. But, essentially the 6 of us, along with our staff, control anywhere from a $7 to $10 million budget and control over 1,012 acres of parks in Quincy.
You have a lot of big projects going on at a lot of the parks. I think there was a $1 million bond that was put out to help pay for some of these things. The one that I noticed, probably the one that grabbed my attention the most, was the new shelter house at Madison Park. But the fact is, you've got all kinds of things going on throughout the city. How do you come up with the list of things to say, we need to fix this, we need to add this, we need to fix this road? How does that list come together?
Years ago, staff just developed a roads plan, a shelter plan, and a playground plan, and that's, it's kind of our wish list each year. So, Madison Park is probably the 8th or 9th shelter we've done over the last, those same years. We have about 4 more to do after that. And then we have about $400,000 worth of road repairs this year, which is, Bob Bangert, Parker Heights, Riverview, and East Gardner. So those are the lowest kind of ratings on our schedule. So we're resurfacing those. And then it's just, just making sure, we're replacing Emerson Park Playground, just trying to keep up with the ADA standards and all of the specs out there. So, we just bounce a lot off each other and work together, and try to present something that's really good to the board and kind of bounce things off of them and get their input as well.
You talk about maintaining the city's parks. I know one of the things that has been discussed with the park board and your staff is trying to find another park on the southeast quadrant of the city. So much of the city's population has moved that way. Where does that stand? I know there's not an urgent idea there, but you'd like to get something on that end of town sooner rather than later.
Yeah, one of my goals for the first quarter of this year is to, last year a couple of board members and myself sat down with the Dieters family. They own a lot of land out there. And then also another board member and myself sat down with John Wood, with all the land that they have out there. So I'm going to revisit some of those connections again here in the next month or so, and just try to get some type of a lease, probably a 99-year lease, just secure to where if and when we get some funding or, there's a new grant out there to where we can kind of go out to that 48th Street and Harrison area, somewhere out there, hopefully. Like you said, a lot of the population is growing that way, and the closest park is Westview, and it really doesn't have a whole lot of amenities there for that neighborhood.
What about the riverfront? The fact is there's a lot of work with the Riverfront Development Corporation. I know that you, as in the Park District, have, in the Park Board, there are members of your group that are going to be part of that redevelopment organization. because it's in their hands, the park district, you kind of have to take a step back a little bit and let them make some of the decisions on what's going to happen on the riverfront and the parks? How does that give and pull work with you guys?
Well, it's, the QRDC, which is the Quincy River Corporation. It's got members from the city, the county, and, one of the park districts. So right now the park district is looking for another outside, non-commissioner to be appointed to that commission. All they're trying to do is get this corporation started to where they can start accepting grants and dollars from outside the community, and then just bounce things off the city, county, and the park district, and see, what the time frames are, and what, if there's any funding available from the different, entities, and see what happens. But it's just, we don't have any money set aside for the riverfront development right now. It's just, it's going to take some time to get some momentum going.
It's your property, so it's you have to have a hand in it in some way, but for the most part, it's the Riverfront Development Corporation that has to come up with the monies to develop it for
and then they have
else.
to then they have to go to the different entities, like I said, and pitch it to them, because you really need all three bodies on board to get the momentum going.
Let's talk about some other things that are been going on in the park district. Like I said, Rome has his hand in so many different things. So one of the things that's always of interest during the summertime is Indian Mounds Pool. Indian Mounds is the only public pool now that the city has, and you lost money there last year. You're going to have to spend another $175,000 on a filter. But I know at the time, your park commissioners have pretty much said, we are committed to keeping this pool open. I mean, what are the short-term and long-term viability of that pool when you're not making much money there?
We live in the Midwest. Pools, when you only operate 65 to 70 days a year, you're not going to make any money. So it's a service that we're providing to the community. Brunsey has a good reserve account to where we know the Indian Mountain Pool is going to lose every year, but our baseball programs, the soccer programs, do very well. So they kind of make up for each other, and a lot of our programming is free, and that's what we want. We're trying to get more visible on the northwest side of Quincy, and we're doing really well with that. But it's just one of those things where every time we turn our mowers on, we're not making any money,
right.
But it's just a service that we're providing to the community, and that's the goal of the staff and the board right now.
Recreationally, the park district is so much different. My first job, I was 14 years old, and I was working as a t-ball umpire at one of the parks in Quincy. That's what I remember, all those games being played in the mornings with moms and dads coaching the games. Now the model's a little bit different. You do have games, most of them are in the evenings, and plus now with these artificial turf fields that you have, you're able to start bringing in some tournaments to this community. Talk a little bit about the offerings that are different now in the baseball and softball programs for the park district.
Yeah, I mean, last year we had over 1,000 kids playing softball, t-ball, and baseball. So, our programs tentatively run Monday through Thursday. That way, like you said, with all three fields being turf now, Q-Town Tournaments has a good relationship with the park district, and Darren, I think right now he's got 13 different weekends that are booked for bringing teams in, and then we also have competitive leagues to where the coaches actually bring in their whole roster rather than the park district forming team. So it's just, we still have the rec side of it, but also then you also have the competitive side as well for some players as well.
The future of Art Keller Marina. I mean, the board and you have been trying to find someone to take it off your hands, try to figure out different ways to make it more profitable. What's the viability of the marina right now? I mean, you're still searching for someone to take it over, but no one's stepped forward yet.
No, we closed that now, so the board's committed through the 23 season to keep the marina open. right now staff's kind of working and has a bunch of ads out for like a work camper, to where a camper can kind of come in and stay for 30, 60, 90 days, whatever, and just kind of give more hours of operation without costing us any more money, and more of a sense of security for the boaters. Hopefully with the momentum that Cubera has, which is Quincy Bay Area Restoration Enhancement Program, we got that $25 million grant to do all the dredging in the bay all the way up through the triangle and through the cut through. So hopefully, when boaters are seeing, reading the news and hearing that, and us, making more improvements over the marina and keeping it cleaner and spraying for spiders more, it's just, it's a work in process, but we're just trying to limp it along, and we're not making any money on it, but it's just, it's at what point we're hopefully, we got some new things coming on to where if you recommend a boater, to the marina that's new, you get 10% off your rental. So we'll see what happens, and we just need more boaters in the marina.
One of the things that might help that, you touched on it briefly, was that the U.S. Senate Appropriations Committee has given tentative approval. I think it was 2533, some absolutely ridiculous amount of money to fund projects in the Upper Mississippi River Restoration Program. When I talked with you at the time, you had said this is going to save the bay. How long will this process take, and what exactly is going to happen with this money?
So right now, there's a group from Cubera that meets the first Wednesday of every month with 30 different Corps members from Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, on the phone right now. And we hosted them for 2 days late last winter. And right now they're kind of writing the scope of the work. Even with the Corps, their fast process is 3 to 5 years just on this writing of the actual scope of work. So hopefully within 6 years, I know it's not the way we work here in town, but we'll see some dirt moving. So what's that? That's going to change the cut through, and to where the sediment flow doesn't come into it, taking a lot of sedimentation and adding it to the existing islands and building it up and putting more hardwoods in there, oaks and stuff like that are nut bearing, and just and hopefully dredge it to 7 to 10 feet the entire bay, just to keep that sedimentation from coming back in.
And I imagine that comes back to Art Keller Marina. I mean, the fact is that if you make those changes there, that might automatically make Art Keller Marina a more fun place to go. Right now, there are people who can't even get their boats out right now because the water levels are so low.
When Mississippi Valley Hunters, they had a lot of their boats down here when I think, like I said, we hosted over 30 Corps and timber people and all that, and I mean the mud buggies were the only thing you could get to some of these spots. So if we can get that down to the 7 feet, like they're telling us, it just gives us so much more recreational opportunities for the boaters, to where they don't have to go into that main channel and have more of an atmosphere in the calm bay.
Lastly, you just had this discussion, starting the discussion at Westview Golf Course about the possibility of replacing the irrigation system out there. The numbers I think I remember seeing were around $2.5 to $3 million cost. I know you're just getting started on looking into this, but how important of a project is this to the future of Westview Golf Course?
It's essential. I mean, we try to keep Westview as in pristine condition as possible, and if you don't have irrigation, you're going to have dead grass, and the pass holders are going to go somewhere else. We're in competition with Hannibal and Camp Point and Cedar Crest, so we want to maintain. We had a great year. Great year, over 30,000 rounds, which is really good for us.
How much higher is that than it has been in the past?
Last year, don't quote me, but we were 27.8, I think. But we made some money this year, so we put it in the piggy bank and for in case something happens. But it's Mother Nature controls us. When the weather's good, we have people out there playing and using our carts.
Kind of like your pool.
Absolutely.
Kind of like, I mean,
Yeah.
what Mother Nature determines a lot.
Absolutely.
Maybe Mother Nature needs to be on your board of commissioners.
That'd be nice. If you could do that, let me know.
So what is the timeline for something like an irrigation? Obviously, you've got to go get bids. You've got to figure out when this can be done. But what is do you have any idea as to when this might actually be able to start to happen?
No, this was, just a board information education document that we showed them, that Dave and I and Rick worked on. It's just showing the board that it's, at some point here in the near future, 3 to 5 years possibly, that we really need to start looking into how we're going to fund, a $2.5 to $3 million project. It's not glamorous because people don't see irrigation. All they see is the green grass, and it's like roads. You don't get a lot of return from that,
Yep.
but it's you need to maintain that. So, when the irrigation is not working, you're spending time and labor, and rather than mowing and upkeep on the course. So it's just something that we're starting to look into, and we have a gentleman who worked with Quincy Country Club who's going to meet with staff here at the end of this month. Mm-hmm. And we're going to give him a little tour and kind of pick his brain and see what he would charge us to kind of give us some type of a presentation to the board and let us know what to expect in the future.
Well, I guess my last thoughts are, I hope it's sunny and dry all spring. Your golf course is plentiful, your pools are filled, and your job is easy.
Amen. If you could do that, that'd be great.
Appreciate the time.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
This is Rome Frericks with the Quincy Park District, the Executive Director. My name's David Adam. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for Muddy River News This Week. See you next time.